All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book of the Bible. All right, so let's get into some news, man. All right, I got this article here from the People's Voice. All right, now the title of this article reads WHO, which is the World Health Organization, right? It says WHO say they are preparing for a nuclear catastrophe in Iran. Now, according to prophecy, we know that this is going to happen. All right, nuclear catastrophe is going to pop off. It is going to happen. All right, it's not a matter of if, but when. All right, and it's going to happen very, very, very soon, man. We don't have 7 years here. All right, 8, 9, 10 years here. Everything is popping off right now. All right, and 2027 just might be that year. All right, because according to the Bible, the number 7 represents completion, and next year is 2027. So, next year just might be our year of redemption. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, I am of the elect. And that's why the Heavenly Father has everything popping off and starting right now, man. All right. So let's get into this article and let's see what's going on. All right. Because I haven't even really read this article yet. I just read like this little area. So we're going to read this article together. All right. So it says the World Health Organization is preparing for a potential nuclear incident in Iran. Now, like I just said, it's not a matter of if, but when. All right. And it's going to happen very, very soon, man. All right. We know this according to prophecy. This is what the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying. Nuclear destruction, all right, is getting ready to fall upon this earth. We've been telling y'all for years and years and years. World War III is coming. Nuclear destruction is coming. The mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, is coming. Great hell and chaos and anguish and sorrow and misery is coming to America. All right? Matter of fact, let's read this little line again. It says the World Health Organization, WHO is preparing for a potential incident in Iran. All right, this third world war that's getting ready to pop off is going to be a nuclear/atomic war. All right, let's prove that, man. All right, let's prove that real quick. All right, let's get Isaiah the 9th chapter. All right. The 5th verse. It says, for every battle of the warrior, this is Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Yeah, because war is a bloody thing, right? So it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this, meaning this war, World War III, right? But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right. So World War III. All right. This war, World War III, is going to be with burning and fuel of fire. That's the type of war World War III is going to be. All right. It's nothing. It's going to be nothing but bombs and it's going to be nothing but nuclear warheads and atomic bombs being dropped on nations, man. It's going to be a nuclear catastrophe, all right, that's going to shroud this earth, man. Not literally every single centimeter of this earth is going to get hit with nuclear destruction. But you got the whole Middle East over there, all of Europe, Asia, and Babylon is going to be hit. You know, Canada. You know, you got places like South America. This world is going to be swallowed, all right, by nuclear destruction. Zephaniah 3 and 8. That's a scripture I bring out all the time. All right? When the Lord said that all the earth shall be devoured by the fire of my jealousy. That's Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse. All right? For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning. All right? This, meaning this war, World War III. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. All right? That's the type of war this Third World War is going to be, with a burning war, a fuel of fire war, which is nuclear destruction. All right? And it's not a matter of if, but when, man. All right? And we know it's getting ready to pop off very soon, man. All right? Why are these globalist stages like the WHO, or organizations like the WHO, preparing for potential nuclear incidents? Because they know it's going to happen, man. You know, they have inside information, these global elitists, man, because they get the orders from on high. You know, because you got the elite banking families, right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Collins family, the Aster family, right? And then you got lesser luminaries right under them. You know, the puppets like these presidents and prime ministers and all these people that sit in high places. You know, these billionaires like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and all them. You know, they know what's happening, man. All right, that's why they have nuclear bunkers, right? Because they know what's about to pop off. All right, and we've been warning you and warning you week in and week out, man. Prophesying nuclear destruction, America's destruction, this Third World War. All right. So it says, let's keep reading. It says, senior regional official Hanan Balki told Politico that the UN agency is preparing for an incident in its broader sense, including strikes on key sites or the use of atomic weapons. All right. Now, like I said, atomic weapons and nuclear weapons are going to be used in this Third World War. We just read it in Isaiah 9 and 5. All right. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this, meaning this war, which is World War III, shall be with burning and fuel of fire. That's the type of war World War III is going to be. You know, a war with of burning and fuels of fire. All right. Did not the Lord say that he created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire to bring forth an instrument? He has created the waster to destroy. Woo. All right. That's Isaiah the 54th chapter. All right. When you read the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, the first verse, the Lord said, there's going to be a day that's going to burn like an oven. That's the day when those nuclear missiles drop on this earth. That's the day that's going to burn like an oven. All right. And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Let's get that. Let's get that. All right, Malachi 4:1, it says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. All right. And I remember, like Apostle Tahar said, not those ovens that only go up to 500 degrees. We're talking about them ancient ovens. Them ovens with the coals with the fire in them. You know? Right? It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. That's the day these nuclear missiles hit. Yeah, all right? It says, in all the proud, and who's the most proud nation? Esau, Edom, all right? And 2/3, you know, you got proud, the most proud nation, the most proud heathen nation is Esau, Edom. All right? When you read the book of Jeremiah 50, he's known as the most proud. Right? And when you read the book of Obadiah, all right, which that entire book is about the nation of Edom, right? The scriptures say that you know his pride has deceived him. All right, he's a very proud man, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the so-called Caucasian man. All right, starting with the elite bankers. All right, the satanic Illuminati elite Edomite banking families. All right, he's the most proud nation, the most proud heathen. All right, and these other nations are proud too. And then you got 2/3 of you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. 2/3 of you Israelites are proud. Rejected this truth when you heard it. You mocked and scorned and scoffed. Right? You looked at this like this was entertainment. Right? So it says, for behold, the day that cometh shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, all right? People are getting ready to get burned alive, torched, and scorched by nuclear destruction, all right? Saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. All right? You're not going to be left neither root or branch. You're going to get plucked up from the roots. You're going to be as if you never were. Because when something is plucked up from the roots, it doesn't grow back. It's not there anymore. Right? So you're going to get, these people are going to be as if they were plucked up from the roots. They're going to be as if they never were. All right? They never were created. All right? They're just going to vanish, turn into powder and mist and dust, right? From that nuclear destruction, right? So it says, let's keep walking it. Let's keep walking it. Let's keep reading. It says, Balky said, the worst case scenario is a nuclear incident, and that is something that worries us the most. Well, you know, it is going to happen. All right, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, right? A nuclear incident is going to happen, right? I just read it in Isaiah 9:5, Malachi, all right, 4:1. The day that cometh, that shall burn as an oven. Yeah, all right. And all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh, that shall burn them up. All right. It's not talking about a hot sunny day. Right? You're not going to get burned up on a hot sunny day. This is talking about being burned, destroyed by nuclear fire. Right? It says that this day that's going to come, that's going to burn like an oven, is going to burn them up. And it says that day is going to leave them neither root or branch. That's talking about nuclear destruction, man. All right, let's get that in, let's get Zechariah, is it 12 or Zechariah 14? Let's get it. I think it's Zechariah 14. Let's go over a few chapters. Zechariah 14. Yeah, all right. All right, Zechariah 14:12, it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Yeah, there's a plague, all right, which is the nuclear destruction, is going to fall upon all the nations that have spoiled us and devoured us and held us captive, right, and oppressed us throughout all the course of history, man. Judgment is coming upon the nations. Amos, the first chapter. Amos, the second chapter, right? Obadiah, in Obadiah 1:15. All right, that the day of the Lord is upon all the heathen. All right, the reason why the Lord is bringing all these nations together for this third world war is so that they could destroy themselves, all right, by thermonuclear destruction. And the reason why the Lord is destroying these nations and judging the heathen, all right, is because of everything they had done to the true Israelites throughout the course of history, going all the way back to the time of Judges. All right, the true Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right, because they have touched the apple of the Lord's eye. Right? Being someone's apple, you know, when you say something is the apple of your eye, all right, that means that's a prized possession. All right, and these other nations have touched the Lord's prized possession, man, which is the nation of Israel, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right, because all these nations had their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to our slavery, our oppression, all throughout the course of history, going, like I said, going all the way back to the time of Judges. You had the Moabites, the Ammonites, all right, which today will be the Chinese and Japanese. They had us in captivity, right? The Medes and the Persians had us in captivity. The Babylonians, the Syrians had us in captivity, right? The Greeks, the Romans had us in captivity. All right, and Esau, Edom in this time had us in captivity as well. All right, so the Lord said, and this shall be the plague, which is the nuclear missiles, wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that had fought against Jerusalem. And Jerusalem represents the nation of Israel, which is the Negro, Latino, Native American man. So the Lord is bringing all these nations together, right, for this third world war, so they could destroy themselves with nuclear fire. The Lord is doing that for us, so he could bring them down, bring their power down, and raise the Negro, Latino, Native American man, the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, to be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth once again. All right, because we can't do it on our own, man. We need Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to do it for us, man. All right, and our rulership is going to be forever. First and foremost, it's Yahweh Shai's kingdom. The kingdom of Israel, by default, is Yahweh Shai's kingdom, and he's going to share his throne with the elect, the 144,000. Right? So it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Now, what's going to cause that? The nuclear destruction. All right, that's going to fall upon this earth. All right? Nothing else is going to do that. What's going to cause your flesh just to wither away? Just vanish while you stand upon your feet. You ever seen that scene from the Terminator Judgment Day, when I think Sarah Connor, or whatever her name was, or whoever it was, right, was up against the fence. She was watching all the little kids play, and you know, everyone is just chilling about their business, right, not knowing what's about to pop off, right, and then a nuclear bomb just drops and everybody just turns into ash. That's how it's going to be. All right? It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right? What you think is going to do that? The nuclear destruction. All right? Come on, man. It says, so when you read this again, it says, Balky said, the worst case scenario is worst case scenario is a nuclear incident, and that is something that worries us the most, and that's coming, man. That's coming. Esau, Edom does have to worry about that, man, because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. All right? Because it's prophecy. And the Lord said, my word shall not return unto me void. Right? And the prophet Esdras, when you read the book of when you read the book of Esdras, the 16th chapter, the second book of Esdras, the 16th chapter, right? He seen the nuclear missiles being shot off, and he said, just like an arrow. He said, just like an arrow is shot of a mighty archer. All right, the plague shall not return until it hits the foundations of this earth. Right? It says the U.S. and Israel have claimed their attacks are aimed at destroying the Islamic Republic's uranium enrichment program, which, according to Tehran, is peaceful. All right. On Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister said that Iran no longer had the capability to enrich uranium, all right, as they had now been destroyed. All right. I guess it's a separate article right here, right? It says, let's keep reading. It says, WHO Eastern Mediterranean Regional Director Hanan Balki reportedly warned that worst case scenario could involve an attack on nuclear facility in Iran or the use of nuclear weapons by one of the belligerents. All right, according to Politico. All right, no amount of preparation could shield the region from consequences that could last for decades, she warned. All right. Yeah, nothing is gonna like it says, nothing is gonna shield that region from destruction, because that's the Lord's will, to bring all these nations together. Let's read it again. All right. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite the people, all right, that have fought against Jerusalem. Jerusalem being the nation of Israel, the true nation of Israel. The Negro, Latino, Native American man is not talking about those people, all right, in the land of Israel today. All right. So the Lord is bringing all these nations together, man. Is going to drop a plague, which is the nuclear missiles, upon these nations that have fought against Jerusalem, the Negro, Latino, Native American men. All right, all throughout the course of history, the true Israelites. All right, so it's gonna happen, man. Whether you like it or not, believe it or not. This is why you elect out there, that's still out there, right? You have to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, unless you want to be swallowed and engulfed by this nuclear destruction. All right. It says, let's read that again. It says no amount of preparation could shield the region. Yeah, because the Lord's will is to destroy these nations, man. All right. It says, since the start of the U.S. Israel military campaign against Iran on February 28th, nuclear sites across the country have come under attack. No radioactive contamination has been reported in the region to date. All right. Israel is widely believed to possess undeclared nuclear weapons. All right. Last week, David Sack, all right, U.S. President Donald Trump's artificial intelligence and crypto czar, said Israel's air defense could become exhausted, and then you have to worry about Israel escalating the war by contemplating using a nuclear weapon. And all these nations that have nuclear capabilities, all right, all these nations that do have nuclear weapons, they're going to use them. They're going to use them. All right. Apostle John, when you read Revelation, the 9th chapter, all right, he's seen 200 million missiles being shot off in this third world war, bro. Listen, bro. What this earth is getting ready to see is something that this earth has never seen before. Nothing before it and nothing that's going to come after it is going to be like this. What the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is getting ready to do, man. You know, listen, man. Just like Yahweh said, then shall they know that I am Yahweh. All right? This earth is going to know that Yahweh is the most high Yahweh. All right? Bro, this is something retarded that the Lord is getting ready to do. All right. It says it says air defenses could become exhausted, and that's why when you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, right? Israel is known as the land of unwalled villages, because a land without walls is a land without protection, right? There's not going to be any type of air defense system that's going to stop these nuclear missiles from hitting Israel and hitting America. These missiles that are going to destroy that land are hypersonic missiles that can't be detected. Russia has a nuclear missile, all right, known as Satan 2. They have Satan 1 and Satan 2. And it flies about 11,000 miles an hour. If I'm not mistaken, it can hit anywhere on this earth within 15 minutes or less. You're not going to catch a missile or detect a missile flying that fast. So like I said, when you read Ezekiel 38, it's about Israel being destroyed by Russia and all of Russia's allies. What's known as the land of Israel today. And it's also twofold. It's talking about America as well. All right? But to clarify, it's first and foremost talking about Israel, the land of Israel. That land has to be destroyed and completely eradicated from off the face of this earth, because that land has to be cleansed because it's greatly defiled. All right, and that land has to be cleansed before the true Israelites step back into the Holy Land. Because before the true Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native American man, step back into the Holy Land, all right, they have to receive their new bodies, and their new bodies are going to be pure and perfect. All right, they're not going to have a pure and perfect body and then step into a land that's defiled. Nah. Right? It says air defenses, all right, could become exhausted. All right, that's the land of unwalled villages. All right, Ezekiel the 38th chapter. All right, it says, and then you have to worry about Israel escalating the war by contemplating using a nuclear weapon, and they are going to escalate the war. All right, because they're going to get that order from the Rothschilds, all right, to use that nuclear missile. And all these other nations are going to use those nuclear missiles too. All right, like it says in Ezekiel 38th chapter, then shall they think an evil thought. The Lord is going to put it in their mind to think that evil thought, which is to hit that red button, right? To let them nuclear missiles fly, them ICBM missiles that hold multiple nuclear warheads. Just one ICBM missile holds 10 to 15 nuclear warheads. All right, just two of them, right, just two ICBM missiles, all right, can drop 30 nuclear warheads. 30. You people have no idea what's getting ready to pop off. All right. It says Trump dismissed the concerns. All right. Because that's his pride. All right. Like it says in Obadiah, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. All right. He's a very proud man. All right. Trump dismissed the concerns, telling reporters on Monday that Israel wouldn't do that. All right. Okay. All right, it says, meanwhile, Iranian authorities said on Tuesday that the U.S. or Israel munition had struck adjacent to the Bushehr, all right, nuclear power plant. All right, the first such reported incident since the war started. All right, Alexei Likachev, all right, Director General of Russia's State Nuclear Corporation, Rosatom, described the attack as a flagrant disregard for the key rules and principles of international security. No casualties were reported, and radiation levels remain normal, according to Rosatom. All right, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, all right, Maria Zakharova, all right, said Moscow condemned the irresponsible and absolutely unacceptable missile strike carried out on the inner perimeter of Bushehr NPP, just meters from the operating power unit. All right, yeah, because Russia is one of Iran's allies. So when something watch something wild is getting ready to happen in Iran, to where Russia is going to be like, all right, now I have to bomb Israel, the land of Israel, what's known as the land of Israel today. All right, because that's prophecy, Ezekiel the 38th chapter. All right, which is getting ready to come to pass very soon, which is Russia and all of Russia's allies, all right, including Iran, is just going to wipe that entire land. Is going to be obliterated. All right. So, like this title says, all right, who says they are preparing for a nuclear catastrophe? All right, and the nuclear catastrophe is inevitable. All right. Nuclear catastrophe is inevitable. It says they are preparing for a nuclear catastrophe in Iran, and that is gonna happen. And then Russia gonna have to come through with their nuclear missiles and just wipe Israel off the face of this earth and America off the face of this earth. It's prophecy. America's destruction is inevitable. All right, this third world war is inevitable. All right. Israel's destruction is inevitable, all right? But unlike America, Israel and all that region is going to be built back up, all right? America's never going to be built back up ever again. It's going to remain a desert forever. A billion years from now, America is going to be a desert, all right? So, I just wanted to bring this article to you. All right, because they know this shit is about to pop off, man. All right. So, Lord willing, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh, Shai, Raptazad, this lesson is or was edifying. All right, call Haloyam, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh, Shai, Bahashim, Rakal, Quitash. All right, on to the next one. Shalom, shalom.